Shalom, shalom, shalom. Before I get this lesson started, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, of whom I learned from, and a shalom to the hopeful elect, taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yahshua to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Adah. One of the brothers out of the GMS camp did a very awesome lesson yesterday, and he used this video. And let me see. Yeah, this, let me see if I can pull it up. He's the brother from All Precepts. And the Spirit led the brother the Mayim today to remind me of it. And nothing's a coincidence. So he reminded me of this, and I was like, oh my God, I had forgot about it. But I remember, let me see. Yes, so check this out. This brother, if you guys don't have a...
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham.
Let me see if I want to pull up his actual page.
All right,
If you do not have access, or if you're not subscribed to this brother's page, you need to subscribe to him. He does a ton of great work. He's one of the... I don't know his name yet, but he just does a ton of work. He's from GMS, and he just does a lot of good work. He posted this yesterday, and I remember when he was talking, I was like, oh man, he was letting this video play, and I remember the very first thought I thought to myself was, oh man, I got to get a hold of that video. I can already tell there's a lot of lessons, there's a lot of work coming off that video by the topic that Tucker Carlson and that dude that he's talking to. So this was the original yesterday when I heard this. And then last night, the elder Yashuramba from the Dallas camp, the head brother from the Dallas camp, he was doing a live with some brothers, and they were quoting this man's lesson. And I remember thinking, damn, that's more confirmation that the Spirit was talking to me about this lesson. And then I completely forgot. I got busy with my day. We got this treasure in earthen vessels. I just forgot, man. And then, bam, the Spirit leads the brother Thamayim saying, hey, man, I think you would dig this, because he's familiar with some of the stuff that I'm very interested in, that the Spirit has given me grace to communicate on. And he's 1,000% correct. And then as I began to think about this, I pulled the video up, started listening to it as I was on my way home, and the Spirit began speaking to me. Now so this is the video, right here, and look at the title: How Governments Summon Demons for Power. Ex-Freemason. So you got let me go back. Salakia, let me get out of here. So you got these Edomites, right? And
have you ever seen a product that transforms any ordinary space into a dreamy underwater world in just 1 second?
Individuals can...
Okay, so you got these Edomites, right? Now this is key. You have to understand who is who, because it helps. Anyone doesn't just get to hold an office and speak on a topic, because they're not. You got to understand the order of things. Let's get this. What's the precept? It's in Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiasticus. He has two. The two are set against each other. The two are set against one another. Let's see. I'm paraphrasing it. It's in Ecclesiasticus. There we go. All things are double. Look at this. So what is this going into? So let me see if I can go back one. All these things I live. So this is Ecclesiasticus 42 and 23. All these things live and remain forever for all uses, and they are all obedient. Verse 24. All things are double, one against another, and he has made nothing imperfect. What does this mean? This is going into the duality of things. You have a night and a day. You have a sun and a moon. You have a right hand and a left hand. You have good and you have evil. You have a chosen and you have a rejected. Now, remember this precept, okay? All things are double and one against another, and he hath made nothing imperfect. Now, let's go to Jacob and Esau. Jacob and Esau. Look, you got now here we see, look, the birth. Okay, so look at this. So the birth of Jacob and Esau. So this is Genesis, right? Chapter 25. Verse 19, and these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife. Hold on. Let's go back. Let me see. Hold up. Okay, my bad. Salakia. And these are the generations of Isaac. Okay, and we understand that Isaac is Yahushai, right? And the promise was made to Abraham, the covenant Yahweh made with Abraham for him and his seed and his seed's seed. Well, what seed was he talking about? He was talking about Isaac's seed. And then which seed? He was talking about Jacob and not Esau. So look at this. This is very powerful, man. And remember the previous precept. He has made two, and they're set against each other. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife because she was barren. And Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. Now look at this. And the children struggled together. So she had twins. She had fraternal twins. There goes the two. All right? Remember, we were just in Ecclesiasticus, right? Talking about the twos. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. They will be against each other. And the one people shall be stronger than the other, just like the right hand is stronger than the left hand, but they're both required. And the elder shall serve the younger. Now you have an elder and you have a younger. There go your twos. Look at all these twos. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, no melanin, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel. This is very important. Why is this even recorded? Because it means something. And his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. 80 is 60 years old. A score is 20 years. So look, there's another precept. I have hated Esau. Or I hated Esau. Look at this. Here's another 2. Let everything be established in the mouth of 2 or more witnesses. Look, Malachi 1 and 3. I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Hold on, let's go back one. I have loved, okay, boom, let's go back another one. Malachi 1:1. The burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, says Yahweh, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith Yahweh, yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau. There goes your 2. There goes your one against another. Yahweh loves one, and he is against another. One is chosen, and one is rejected. One is righteous, and one is wicked. One is holy, and one is profane. You have light, and you have darkness. Right here, you have the right hand and the left hand. It's all right here, you guys. Why is all this important to understand? Because you have to understand Renaissance Western Christianity. Esau, the current rulership, has spread a lie in the earth to cover himself by saying God loves everyone. No, that's an unrighteous balance. Because there's a rejection. Everything isn't accepted. Everything isn't holy and righteous, you guys, by the order of the Most High. That's the balance. You don't have the sun up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the entire year. The moon comes up. You don't have it's nighttime. It's not hot all year around. It's cold too. Okay, you don't just have a right hand and your left hand stays down and never. And the same thing with your left hand. You don't just have your left hand and no right hand. You don't just have a top. You also have a bottom. You don't just have a front. You have a back. Dude, there's deep reality, deep understanding, and understanding these twos that are set against themselves. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of wilderness. Look, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them what? The border of wickedness. So what are the Israelites called? We are a king of priests. We're a holy generation. But right here, we're seeing that our twin brother, he's called the border of wickedness. What does Peter say about the Israelites, right? Let me see if I can find a peculiar people. Look. Let me see if that's what. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation. Who is this talking about? It's not talking about a bunch of random, confusing people that all come together and accept white Jesus, because Jesus is not the name of Yahweh, and he's not a white man. And that whole white social construct is also a lie. 1 Peter 2:9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who had called you out of his darkness into his marvelous light. It's talking about the Hebrew Israelites. What's the other one? He shows his word. I'm laying foundation. I believe it's Psalms 147. Look. Psalms 147:19. Talking about the Most High. He shows his word unto Jacob. He doesn't show his word to Esau. He doesn't show his word to Edom. He doesn't show his word to Basra, to Idumea, to Mount Seir. He shows his word to Zion. He showeth his word, and what is his word? His son. It's not just the law, statutes, and commandments. It's not just the prophecies. It's all. Those are beautiful, wonderful things. It's not just the testimony. It's literally also Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is called the Word of God. He shows his word. He shows his son unto Jacob, unto Yasharallah, unto Israel, the hopeful elect of Israel, his statutes and his judgments, his standards, his rules, his ways unto Israel. Isn't that awesome? He has not, verse 20, he has not dealt so with any nation. There goes your two right there. There goes how he treats the right hand. He specifically gives his right-handed wisdom to the nation, to the race of people that are on the right hand, and that's Jacob. That's Israel. Everybody else, you guys, is on the left hand, and the top ruling nation or race of people on the left hand are the wicked, and that's the Edomites. He hath not dealt so with any nation. As far as his judgments on the right hand side, the left hand people do not know them. They have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. We can do this all day, you guys. This is the foundation. We got to prove all things. Now look at this video. Now that we understand that the only people who can speak on right-handed righteousness, on the judgments on the right hand, are the Hebrew Israelites. These two men are not Hebrew Israelites. These two men are Edomites, and not only are they Edomites, they're doing what is called, I didn't know if they were doing the revelation of the method. And then when I listened to more of what they were saying, this is exactly what they're doing. They're playing dumb. Tucker Carlson is doing an excellent job of playing the soft-spoken, gentle, white male character that they've been playing this entire time since Hollywood. The golly wally G Beav, the leave it to Beaver, innocent, painless little white man. I didn't know. I'm so soft. I'm so innocent. When it talks about in Ecclesiastes, trust not your enemy, though he come crouching and weepeth with his eyes. He'll stab you in the back. That's what Tucker Carlson is, a fucking Freemason. I realize that now after this interview, because he's interviewing a guy who's claiming to be an ex-Freemason, yet here he is giving you all this information about the Freemasons, and he never once condemns. Neither one of these guys ever speaks a judgment or ever condemns the race of people they are talking about, nor do they condemn the actions of the people they are talking about. Yet people are ascribing a form of righteousness to both of these Edomites because they're merely doing the revelation of the method. That's what this fucking shit is. And because the world is in darkness, they cannot point these guys out. Only the elect on the right-hand side are able to break these fuckers down, because we're operating in the wisdom, the knowledge, and the information on the right-hand side. Okay, so check this out. Listen to what they're saying.
If individuals can make a deal,
and he doesn't say, well, so who are the individuals? See, everything's general. It's everybody. No, it's not fucking everybody. It's a specific race of people. Because the world, let's get one more precept. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. And Daniel tells you who would be the ruling beast systems. The earth is given into the hand. We just saw that Esau is the wicked. They're called the border of wickedness. Therefore, the earth is given into the hands of Edom. The earth is given into the hands of Esau. The earth is given in the hands of Mount Seir, Idumea, Basra. That's who the wicked is, the so-called white man. And I'm going to pull up a bunch of videos that the Spirit just gave me on Instagram showing you that it is them, this is talking about them. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges. He makes everything about them, changing the nationality of the judges. There goes there goes the 2 again. Look at the 2. Can you see the 2? You see the wicked mentioned and judges mentioned. You see them being set against themselves. How does it work? You see the wicked set against the judges by trying to cover the face of the judges and telling the world that they are the judges and the judges are the wicked. What does this mean? This is a riddle. It's a dark saying. This is identity theft. When Israel would go into captivity and lose their heritage, the wicked very craftily would come in and falsify the documents, chip off the noses of statues, and repaint over paintings, and tell the world that the chosen sons of God are so-called white men, and that so-called black and brown men are evil. This whole color caste system has been sent all over the earth, and righteousness is based on white skin, and sin and transgression is based on dark brown skin. Which it also shows you the level of darkness that everybody is walking in, because that is not how you base or gauge what is righteous and what is wicked. You will know a tree by their fruits. You see the 2 again. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked, and he covers the faces of the judges. There goes the setting against one another. We are directly opposed to each other, you guys. We're opposed to them, and they're opposed to us. So there's no all this bullshit about, we're all in this together. We're all love. No, that's bullshit, bro. There is a right hand and a left hand. There's a division between the day and the night. There is a separation between hot and cold. There is a distance between up and down. There is a gulf fixed between Jacob and Esau. Can you see it? Now, with all this understanding, look. Listen, they cannot speak on what we are talking about the way we can talk about it. But they will try to cover the faces of the judges. Why? Because they're going to act like they're judges by half-ass speaking about these topics. And then if you look into the comments, everyone's just going to ascribe some form of righteousness to these fuckers, because they don't know either. They're all walking in darkness. All right? No one here knows anything, bro. They're all in deception. Listen to what these guys are saying.
If individuals can make a deal with supernatural forces to serve them in exchange for temporal power, for success in this life, money and authority, and that's clearly true, can nations do the same?
I think so.
Well, individuals are nations. They become nations. Individuals become a house, and that house becomes a family, and those families become nations. That's what the scriptures say. Esau became a house, the house of Esau, just like Jacob becomes a house, the house of Jacob. And then what happens? There's a tribal system set up because of the sons, and from those tribes there's an order, there's a priesthood, there's a religious system, and there's a ruling government. What is it for Israel? It's the prophets and the kings. It's the kings and the priests. It's the law, statutes, and commandments. It's the oracles. It's the prophecies. It's the testimony of Yahweh Shai, which is the spirit of prophecy. That is the Zion. That is the rulership the government, the for God so loved the world, the harmonious arrangement. That order is what rules and governs the house of Jacob. And you can best believe there is an order in the house of Esau. And it's just as fucking regimented, and it's just as initiative, right? And it's just as separated or independent of everything else. You don't just get to be up in there, right?
I think it's a kind of
And so both of these fuckers, they're going to speak very softly, very painlessly, but listen to their inability to point out the transgressions of their specific race of people. But they're going to give you all this fucking information, which proves to you guys who these fuckers are. They're not righteous. Watch.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like the power of belief, right, as a nation. And either, so we can go back to John Dee, for example, Enochian magic.
Who is John Dee?
No, he's going to act like he doesn't know who John Dee is. Tucker knows who John Dee is. We don't know who John Dee is, but look what this guy says. Look who, and I'm going to pull up a precept. Listen to who John Dee is.
So John Dee was basically like the head of intelligence for Queen Elizabeth, right at the beginning of the British Empire.
Elizabeth I.
Elizabeth I. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so he was a so-called white man out of the British Empire. Where did America come from? The so-called white people are the little horn, and they came from Great Britain. Let's get the precept. Your mother shall, and we understand that Jeremiah 50 and 51 is specifically directed at America, which is directed at Esau in the Bible, right? We understand that? So look, Jeremiah 50 and 12. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nation shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. And we understand that Jeremiah 50 and 51, in fact, let me pull that. We understand by revelation. Do I want to do it this way? Jeremiah 50. Oh, Salakia. 50. I'm just going to do verse 12. So check this out. We understand that both these chapters are very descriptive and what Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to do to America, but that's what he's going to do to Esau. The word of Yahweh spake against Babylon. We understand this is talking about mystery Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. You have to understand now. Why is the Most High connecting Babylon with Chaldeans? Because in ancient Babylon, the wise men of Babylon were the Chaldeans. What are the Chaldeans? The Chaldeans are your real deal witchcraft gangster thugs. They're the ones that the left hand directly speaks to. They're the ones that understand how to do all the ceremonialistic, fucking ritualistic wisdom on the left hand side. Just like the Hebrew Israelites understand how to operate on the right hand side. So the Most High is ascribing this nation in these chapters as the ancient Babylonians, right, or the daughter of Babylon, and ascribing to them their ability to be into witchcraft on the left-hand side at the level of the Chaldeans. And I want to pull up videos to prove that. But that's what these fuckers are acting like they're talking about in a righteous manner, when really what they're doing is they're very subtly doing a revelation of the method. Because there's no repentance for this race of people. They can never come to Yahweh Shai and get washed off for their sins because they were created to be what they are. There's no redemption for the left-hand side. The left hand is to be the left hand because the right hand is to be the right hand. They have to stay on their side. They never come over. If you read the parable of Yahweh Shai, Lazarus and the rich man, where Lazarus is that poor man that he was getting his wounds licked on, and the rich man was on fire. Hey, send Lazarus to dip his finger in some water to cool my tongue, and Abraham says there's a gulf fixed in between so that nobody over there can come over and nobody over here can come over there. We are created in twos and we're set against each other. They are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Elizabeth I.
Elizabeth I. Yeah, sorry. Go back in time to the 1580s.
century.
Yeah, exactly.
So 1680s, 1580s. What were we doing? We were slaves during this time. What were the so-called white people, rulership, doing? They were involved in left-handed practices. Nothing ever changed. Renaissance Christianity was established to hide. It's a cloaking device to hide who these people really are, because they cannot have a relationship with Yahweh Shai. And his name isn't Jesus, and he's not a fucking white man. These are witches. This is a witch nation that was set up by the Most High to deceive the whole world. And part of their deception was them renaming themselves white and saying that they could be Christians.
1980s, and D is the original 007. That's how he signed his signature. So Bond is actually inspired from John D. And he was into magic. He basically was working these, what they call the Enochian magic.
So listen to how he's talking about this guy. Is he talking about him like he's condemning him? Is he angry? His voice is lifted up. He's real gentle. They are basically giving you guys a low-level history of what they really are in the disguise of if they're revealing or tattletaling or showing you the evil. Yet they never ever speak one judgment. They never speak one precept, and they never call for repentance. They never declare the hatred that Yahweh has for this stuff. What they are talking about are abominations. They're not just transgressions, they're abominations. You got to see this for what it is.
Because, again, derived probably from the book of Enoch, but he was communing with these beings, watchers, what he considered angels, but and he had this, these incantations. And
he was summoning spirits.
He was working with spirits, and the theory is, basically the Shakespearean Tempest play is inspired from John Dee as the wizard in the story is basically John Dee, that he essentially made the deal for the British Empire to become the most powerful empire in the world. And it begins with the sinking of the Spanish Armada.
Now that part's a lie, because we understand that the Most High said that Esau was going to rule. It tells you in Daniel, it tells you in 2nd Ezra, it tells you in Obadiah, it tells you in Malachi, they shall build, look, let's get it, Malachi. So remember, they're very crafty, they're able to forge lies. They shall build, but I will throw down. They shall build, but I will throw down. But I will throw down. I will throw down. This is Malachi 3. Well, yeah, they're so look. Whereas Edom saith, so what is happening? This is during the Dark Ages, when they were supernaturally wrapped around by a chain. When Yahweh wrapped them in the chain that's mentioned in Revelation chapter 4. During the Dark Ages, they were prevented from rulership, but this doesn't mean they were not doing their enchantments. This doesn't mean they were not making plans. This doesn't mean they were not getting spoken to by the left-hand side, so that when they were released, they would hit the ground running, because that's exactly what happened, you guys. I didn't understand this in the beginning. When I first learned this years ago, now I understand. Look at this precept. This is the Most High speaking about Edom. He hates them. But look at this. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished. What is this talking about? This is sometime after 70 AD, when Rome fell. When the Edomites fell and they were supernaturally restrained in the pit, which is the European geographical location of the earth. They were supernaturally held there. They weren't able to move around. But it doesn't say anything about them not being spoken to. Wherein we were, so look, wherein Edom saith, look into this, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Now open this up. What is this? This is a 1,000-year period, bro, that this line is covering. But we will return and build the desolate places. What's the desolate places for the Edomites? Their left-handed system. Their Chaldean feast of blood strategies on how to rule the earth. They would be getting all kinds of downloads. They were still doing human sacrifices during this time. They were still speaking to the left-handed prophets. The left-handed powers were giving them the left-handed version of everything that Daniel, Ezra, and the Apostle John and Ezekiel were given. You got to understand this. There's a lot going on right here. So look at this. And then you got the semicolon. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts. Look at this. Well, what's Yahweh of hosts? What does that mean? He's Yahweh of both the right and left-handed powers. So he's Yahweh of the left hand as well. So because he's Yahweh of the left hand and not just the right hand, look what he says. They shall build. Stop. You take the they shall build, you connect it up above to the next line, but we shall return and build the desolate places. Now you got to open these two lines up. From a left-handed supernatural perspective, they're being spoken to this entire time. Weren't we being spoken to when, the water yacht was shy for that. Were not the prophets of Israel being spoken to by the angels with prophecies when we were in captivity? Daniel got the whole Bible of Daniel. He got the whole download of Daniel when we were in captivity to Babylon. Were we not coming out of captivity when the whole download was given to Ezra? Was not John the apostle he was in prison in the Roman captivity. He was in prison in the Roman captivity when he got the download of Revelation. Same thing is happening to Esau right here. Esau is supernaturally bound in the water Yahweh by Shemir Shai, forgive me that. He's supernaturally bound in Europe, but they're getting downloads from the left-handed powers to bring about the rulership when they do get released after the 1,000 years. That's Satan. Satan being released in Revelations 12 is talking about at the end of this period with these people right here. You got to understand this. They shall build. That's the Most High giving them provision on the left-hand side to build, but I will throw down. Now look, let's go back.
With the sinking of the Spanish Armada, which again, as everyone knows, it was a massive storm.
Begun in a tempest.
That basically, helped to sink their plans and their fleet. And the theory is that he basically made the deal for the British Empire, but the deal requires.
Did you catch that? So fucking Tucker was acting like he didn't know who this guy was, but then he knows about the boat. See, hold on, let's see if I can get it.
Actually made the deal for these incantations, derived probably from the Book of Enoch, but he was communing with these beings, watchers, for Queen Elizabeth, right at the beginning of. Go back to John Dee, for example.
Okay, so look, he's gonna say like, "Who's John Dee?" But then he knows about the boat. Look at this shit. Watch.
Enochian magic.
Who is John Dee?
So John
what?
Dee was basically like the head of intelligence for Queen Elizabeth, right at the beginning of the British Empire.
Elizabeth I.
Yeah, sorry.
See, but then he knows who Elizabeth I is. Are you catching this shit?
Go back in time to the 1580s.
Century,
yeah, exactly.
See, he knows, bro. He knows the dates and all this shit, but he's acting like, who's John Dee? Why? Because we don't know who John Dee is. Do you see what they're doing? This is a revelation of the method production.
1580s, and D is the original 007. That's how he signed his signature. So Bond is actually inspired from John Dee, and he was into magic.
So all the fucking the 007, the awesome agent movies of this white man, he's got to fight crime. He's the ultimate criminal on planet Earth. It was based on this guy's character. But let's get back to the original point. Tucker Carlson fucking knows, even though he's acting like he don't know.
He was working these, what they call Enochian magic, because, again, derived probably from the Book of Enoch, but he was communing with these beings, watchers, what he considered angels, but, and he had this, these incantations. And
he was summoning spirits.
He was working with spirits.
See? He's acting like he's asking questions, but he's also directing this guy. He was summoning spirits. He's saying it like a question, but he's looking down at his notes, and he's helping the dude stay on track. This fucker knows, bro. And look how they act. Oh, I'm so quirky. I just leave it to Beaver. I don't cuss. I'm so soft and well spoken. Yet these are seed line witchcraft people, the Edomites, bro. Yahweh did a great job at creating these fuckers. From their quirkiness, how quirky they are. They're so physically non-threatening. But they're fucking diabolical in their minds, bro.
And the theory is the basically Shakespearean.
He's acting like the theory is. I don't know if it's true. It's completely true. They're presenting it like fucking with their voices, bro.
Tempest play is inspired from John Dee as the wizard in the story is basically John Dee. That he essentially made the deal for the British Empire to become the most powerful empire in the world. And it begins with the sinking of the Spanish Armada, which, again, as everyone knows, it was a massive storm.
Begun in a tempest.
Okay, so see, he knows. Now let's break down this, and I got there's a lot. I'm gonna do another one on this. So supposedly John Dee made a deal. They don't say what the devil, but we know he's talking about, so that the British Empire could be the most. Okay, now let's get it. What did Satan say? All this is mine to give. If you worship me. Now look, there goes. I remember. I think it was Elder Malcolm or Yashuramba, not Yashuramba, but Malcolm, or I think it's Elder Malcolm that said someone took the deal. Well, it's the Edomites, but it's not that. But the deal was only for the Edomites because there was no other race created that was going to be the wicked but Esau, Edom. Matthew 4:10. Thus say Yahweh. Okay, boom. Hold on. Let's go again. The devil taketh them. Look, Matthew 4:10. Again, now you got to understand. Everything that Satan, the left-handed prince demon spirit, is showing Yahushua, it's real. And it really is his. And Christianity teaches that Satan stole all this power from Adam in the garden. No. It was always legally, rightfully his from the start, because the Most High has created the right and the left, the two that set against each other, and the left hand has to have a power source to operate from. So everything that Satan is in his position, he's not in transgression. He's not in sin. He's allowed to be the left-handed expression of Yahweh on the earth. So all the wisdom that Satan operates in was given to him when Yahushua created him in the beginning. He's completely right in he's right in his position. And again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and said unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Now look, and so Yahushua is on the right-hand side. Now he gets an order, right? Or he declares order. Then says Yahushua unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship. But who was it written to? It was only written to the Hebrew Israelites. Psalms 147. He shows his word. Ooh, this is good. He shows his word to Jacob, his statutes, to Israel. He has not dealt so with any other nation. So then, and what is Yahushua? Yahushua is the star that rises out of Jacob. He's our cornerstone. He's our foundation. He's our king. He's our redeemer. He's the head. He's the head son. Hallelujah. Right? And so he's declaring to the left hand our order. This is our house. Our house cannot worship you. Our house has to worship Yahushua. Esau's house can and does and will worship you. Why? Because they're the other half of the two that's set against us as we are set against them. We're not able to walk on the left-hand side. And when we do, it's transgression. But when Esau walks on the left-hand side, it's not transgression the way it is for us. Now, he's going to get judged for what he's done, of course. but that's where he's supposed to be. Then said Yahushua unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt not worship the Lord thy power, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. Who is that written to? It was written to Moses, to the children of Israel, to Jacob. It wasn't written to Esau. Esau didn't get this. Esau got this part. Now open this up. And he said to him, all these things will I give thee if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Look, and again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the glory, right? And all these things will I give thee. Why? And Satan has a system. If thou wilt fall down and worship me. Now, there's a system to this worship. You can't just do it any kind of way. And Esau, right here, he's showing you. They know. And I'm going to let this play just a little bit more, and I'm going to go into Instagram and pull out a whole bunch of videos, and you guys are going to see.
He got in a tempest.
That basically, helped to sink their plans and their fleet. And the theory is that he basically made the deal for the British Empire, but the deal requires a certain level of blood sacrifice. And, some people say that we've inherited the British Empire and those demons, essentially, those same deals.
I can't.
Especially since 45, since the end of the Second World War.
It is interesting if you think about it. So here you have this island nation with a...
This piece of shit's not going to condemn that because he's actually with it. This is an image. This shaved face, collared, suit and tie, very gentle speaking. They're all like this. They're all like this, you guys. This is the image with this muscle memory, with this type of physical posture. Okay, though he go creeping, trust him not. Though he go weeping. This dude is very much aware of what this guy's talking about, right? He just said human sacrifice. That is an abomination that goes into the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verses 3, 4, 5, and 6, the feast of blood, right? Now let's just jump. There's a lot in this. But for the sake of time, look at all these videos the Spirit just brought up. Trip off of this, man. Good
First,
Lord.
they're going.
That's it. But I'm gonna go into all the ones I saved. Trip off of this, man. Look. Which one? I got a million of them, and all you're gonna see is Edomites. It's all you're gonna see is fucking Edomites. Look, you see all these? Now let me. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this fucking shit.
The Vatican is the long-standing procurer of children for the elite. It turns out that drinking children's blood is an anti-aging device. This is
You see that? You see that demon on her necklace? That's not just some random fucking artifact. That's what they follow.
It's really sick and disgusting, but it's a fact. It's a chemical fact. And if you drink adrenalized children's blood, this is a doubly effective anti-aging device. It's gone on throughout history. This is not new. The Catholic Church is all about power over people. The Catholic Church is all about, we'll tell you what to think, don't think for yourselves. And the same is true of all religions that have dogma. Okay? Any religion with dogma is a false religion. It's a false God. God is us. God is in we, the cosmos, and we do not need a religion to be good human beings that advance to the next level of civilization. So religions right now are part of the deep state. They're part of the control mechanism.
I don't know if you know this, but
Hitler's
British rule Israel.
At the hunting party,
John F. Kennedy was
The Clinton Foundation.
Gerald Ford is not up this most
you
days.
know that Branson is... First, they're going to make a profit. Off of a child through by trafficking that child and sexually exploiting them. When that child is no longer usable in that, they then will offer to allow people to pay money to either ritually consume, and yes, I said consume, or ritually kill that child. Then the child's body is bid on for more money. The child usually will be cremated and turned into a diamond. And if you don't believe that's happening, I encourage you, look at all the old Catholic churches. Every single Catholic church and every single community has an incinerator. What were those incinerators used for? How did the Vatican get so wealthy? It's because they were making diamonds out of the dead.
You know that Branson is higher up in the chain than Epstein is. People are really going to see Branson's name coming out a lot with that. I think that he was the higher up who was kind of running their trafficking corporation. So these passports that people were getting from Terramar Project basically make them citizens of no country. They become citizens of the water. So therefore, they legally cannot be convicted of any crimes committed on the water, and anybody could take them anywhere. This is one of the major ways that I believe that, they're getting by with this trafficking. And if you think how big, Epstein with his one little island was, just imagine somebody who's doing this internationally off the water with no tracking.
This most dangerous game, as they referred to it, was a matter of human hunting. And when a mind-controlled slave such as myself was stripped of clothes and turned loose in the woods, I was then hunted by George Bush, Dick Cheney, and Bill Clinton, among others. But they were the main ones. I do not believe that it was necessary for them to have subjected me to this form of trauma. There were so many other traumas going on at the time. My mind was already prime conditioned for...
So just like on the right hand, right, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai shows his word to Jacob and his statutes to Israel. And as for any other nation, he has not done so. So has the left-handed Satan, the prince demon spirit. He has shown his methods to the wicked, and he hasn't shown this stuff to everybody. This is why they do all this shit. This is part of that religious system that's in this house. This is the house of Esau. And these are the secrets that Esau operates in, and this is what he does. They do all this kind of shit. Watch, there's more.
Mind control program. So I really don't understand it, except for the fact that they found great pleasure in this form of human hunting.
Did you sleep with George Bush yourself?
No, never. Even though he was present when he had turned me loose in the woods, he also had turned my daughter, Kelly, loose. She was only 6 years old at the time. When Kelly was brought in, she said that she had been caught, same as me, to quote her, in that so-called most dangerous game. That was to make her feel responsible for the sexual abuse that followed. George Bush sexually assaulted my daughter, and Dick Cheney sexually assaulted me.
Gerald Ford is not a pedophile per se. He's what I refer to as trisexual. He'll try anything. Any age, anybody, anytime, anywhere, just as long as he had control. Because he had a perversion of power, in addition to his interest in mind control. Therefore, it was Gerald Ford who came out to our house and explained to my father how to raise me in the project according to government specifications. My father had been caught sending this child pornography through the U.S. mails, and therefore he was approached and told that if he sold me into that project, that he would gain immunity from prosecution. My father remains free from prosecution to date for so-called reasons of national security. Once my father agreed to sell me into the project, I was taken routinely to Mackinac Island, Michigan, which is a political retreat where the Michigan governor's mansion is located. It was a bohemian grove of sorts where politicians met and discussed New World Order controls, where they discussed mind control of the masses, mind control in the school systems, how to use occultism as a trauma base.
Enchantments and fucking witchcrafts. There you go. And what race do you see? What do you see? You've been seeing nothing but so-called fucking white people. This is the biblical nation of Edom. They're not white. These are the Edomites. They are the border of wickedness, and they operate on the left-hand side, and they get the power from the left-handed powers based on the way Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai has written out prophecy, biblical prophecy. This is the only way they can rule. And their rulership is coming to an end. And when Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai comes to rule, it will be another house, a completely different race of people, a nation of people, the Hebrew Israelites. And they will rule and do things completely differently on the right-hand side. And these people will not be a part of it except for they will be slaves. Just like we're slaves in their rulership right now.
One of my sexual abusers at that time was the Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Trudeau. Pierre Trudeau is a professed Jesuit. Now, the Jesuits are an intelligence arm of the Catholic Vatican. Pierre Trudeau represented this criminal faction of the Catholic Church, of the Jesuits.
The Clinton Foundation is perhaps the one.
Okay, this was it. So remember when that guy was talking about demonic sacrifice? Look at this. This is a good one. The red shoes is made out of skin from children that they have done sacrifices, the Feast of Blood. It's an outward token, but they know what it means. But now Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai has brought it out. This is the fucking Pope. Watch what he's wearing. Listen to what she's saying.
And when you get those red shoes, and it usually signifies a very significant kind of higher level ritual killing. And the shoes.
See the shoes he's wearing? He's got that whole white on, and he's wearing those red shoes. That dude is a fucking high priest on the left-hand side, and he killed some child, and those shoes are made of that child's skin. He's wearing the skin of a child sacrifice in front of the whole world, but nobody knows what it means.
Are made out of child skin. Usually you'll see they get significant rings with diamonds in them. The more, children they kill.
Boom, look at that. Look at all those goddamn red shoes. And look who it is. What do you see? You see Edomites. These are Amalekites, the head tribe of the Edomites.
A lot of them like to have those diamond trophies.
Look at that motherfucker. Bill Maher, dude, rocking a pair of them fucking things, and he gets on TV every day acting like he don't know what's going on. He knows exactly what's going on. Right there, he's guilty as charged. He fucking murdered. He raped some child, and that's what that is. Look.
They wear around. They would just receive, the diamond or the ring after it's done. And you see later, those...
Look at her face. Look at this.
Are offered for massive amounts of money.
See that picture? That picture is the face of the girl, I believe, that they cut her face off. Hillary Clinton cut her face off and then drank her blood. It's like famous amongst them. Why would he be on national TV looking at a picture of a little girl's face in front of a bunch of it? What the fuck is that? They're showing you, but see, because people are blind and they think this guy's a man of God when they can't be. They're the left-hand side. Remember, we're created in twos and we're set against each other. The true men of God do not operate like this. This is them bragging about their priesthood works, their altar, which is what? It's human sacrifice. Their entire structure system is based on this shit.
Once the Pope stops wearing them, mostly you're going to find that people who are wearing those are part of the Jesuit and the Kabbalah esoterical levels of the Illuminati, but it would be comparable to, the Masonic branch.
So you're telling me all these Edomites right here, they're all around this guy because they love the Most High? They love the Most High Son? Come on, man. This is the left hand, you guys.
It would, you'd be above a level 33 degree Mason when you get.
Israel was created as the instrument to.
As British rule family.
Hitler's survival of the Vatican is the long-standing procurer of children for the elite. It turns out
The Clinton Foundation is the biggest organized crime family that I know of. For example, Hillary Clinton took money from the Russians to sell American uranium to Russia. She took money from the Saudi Arabians to sell Syria and Yemen to Saudi Arabia.
What do you see her doing? Standing in front of the so-called Wailing Wall and being seen as if she's praying. It's this ritual is they all do this shit. And so look, let's go back to this.
It is interesting if you think about it. So here you have the deal requires their fleet. And the theory is that he basically made the deal for the British Empire, but the deal requires certain level of blood sacrifice. And, some people say that we've inherited the British Empire and those demons, essentially, those same deals. I can't. Especially since 45, since the end of the Second World War. It is interesting if you think about it. So here you have this island nation with a pretty small population take over the entire world.
A quarter of the planet was under there.
That's right. So, yeah, largest.
See, and he claims to be a Christian. He claims to be, white Jesus. And yet scripture and prophecy says that there would be a beast nation that would rule the earth, right? It tells you that. And yet here they are acting dumbfounded by, half-ass giving themselves credit or talking really cool about their people, even though they're acting like they're exposing their people. Every time this motherfucker speaks, bro, anytime this race of people speaks, what does it say? Believe him not, because there are 7 abominations in his heart. When he speaketh fair, believe him not. I'm going to get ready to end this because it's getting kind of long. But look, so Proverbs identifies this fucker, right? Come on. Okay, Proverbs 26:25. Let's go back one. 26:24. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. Verse 25. When he speaks fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. He is made perfect in abominations inside of his mind. This is why they're such excellent liars. This is why they talk the way they talk.
Yeah, largest empire, some ways the most amazing empire.
See how he's talking? He's saying these words, but he's also trying to act like he's like, I'm just thinking about it. No, he's being subtle. Dude, this dude's one of them. He's not this innocent fucking guy. This motherfucker knows, bro.
But certainly a vast empire. How'd they do that?
I'm so like, how did the Most High put you guys in they didn't do shit. Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Yahushai says it. Look, there's just one very plain one. Art not thou that fourth beast that I created. Look, see, they try to act dumb, you know what I mean? Because they want to take all the credit for themselves because they're all fucking wicked. Look at this. This is Yahushai speaking to the eagle. You can read the whole chapter, but look, art not thou it that remainest of the 4 beasts whom I made to reign in my world that the end of their times might come through them? What's he talking about? He's talking about the book of Daniel, the 4 beasts that were mentioned, and that 4th beast out of the 4 beasts is the so-called white man, the Roman Empire. And America is the final leg of the Roman rulership, and it's the same race of people. And they came out of Great Britain, and Great Britain are also Edomites, and they were the group of people that occupied that area after Rome fell the first time. All right? Verse 40, and the 4th came, talking about you guys came to rule, and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression, and so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. Every fucking thing you guys say is a goddamn lie. You know how you got into power. The Most High gave Satan the instructions on how to lead you down the path of prophecy to rule on the left-hand side. That's how. Don't act dumb. But see, again, when they talk, they can't fucking ever speak the truth. 2 Ezra 11:41, for the earth hast thou not judged with truth. Everything that you just saw, those videos, you guys. Verse 42, for thou hast afflicted the meek, talking about the Israelites, Thou hast hurt the peaceable. Thou hast loved liars and destroyed the dwelling of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. And this is all they've ever done. Therefore is thy wrongful dealings come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. The highest also hath looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. Therefore appear no more, thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor thy vain body. Why? That all the earth may be refreshed, and may return, being delivered from thy violence. They're the most violent race of people on planet Earth. But they have the world convinced that it's the so-called black man, and that she may hope for the judgment of the mercy of him that made her. And they removed the Apocrypha out of the Bible to hide their own identity. And here Tucker Carlson he's directing this guy as he's asking him questions, and then he's acting stupid. Very crafty, but this is how they are.
Yeah.
Both of these guys know what they're doing. They're acting super humble, and they're acting like they kind of don't know what's going on. I don't know. And then they're giggling, too. Fuck these people, bro.
I mean, it's more than guns, germs, and steel, right? I mean, it's economically, the financial component is fascinating. You know, how they were able to obviously, do, with the shipping and whatnot, insurance on shipping, and, they controlled, when they controlled the seas of the Western world all the way to India, even to China, right? They were able to control the seas, and then they basically would trade. They had this.
And that's why one of their symbols is the pirate, the skull and crossbones. But what is a pirate? A pirate is a thief. What are they called in prophecy? They are called the house of the thief. So when they give you the story of their people, they speak in code, right? They whisper, they mutter. They don't tell you all truths, but if you're on the right-hand side and you have access to these prophecies, you can figure these fuckers out. But both these fucking assholes know exactly what's going on. They're just this is a revelation of the method. They were given instruction to do this. That's why they did this.
In traffic, where they would take the cotton, they would buy the cotton cheap from, slave labor.
And the slave labor was who? The Hebrew Israelites. You just confessed that.
America, sell it over and, across their empire in India, buy the tea, the tea and the opium.
And they've always been drug dealers. They've always been the biggest drug dealers on planet Earth. But who have they made the face of drug dealing? The so-called black and Latino man, the Hebrew Israelites. But they are the biggest drug dealers. The crack epidemic was because of them. Opiates and heroin is because of them. Methamphetamines. And then watch. So he's telling you all this stuff, and then watch how when they bring up Issachar.
From Afghanistan, which was under India at the time, and then dump the opium on the Chinese and get the silver for that.
So we dumped the opium on the Chinese, but that gets a giggle. Now watch this part.
It's a pretty good trade, right? It's a pretty good deal.
But the core power, you believe, came from a deal.
Well, what I
and notice how he didn't say it. He see it. See how crafty this is. Tucker Carlson says, but the core power, you say, came from a deal. A deal with who, Tucker? See, he knows, but he's going to edit it in his own speech. Why? To sanitize it, because it's all about image. This is all very skillfully displayed. You got to see these fucking people for what they are, man. See, because Tucker gets to walk away from this interview. He gets to keep his Christian image. He gets to keep his wholesome white boy image. And anyone listening to him doesn't realize how fucking wicked he is. All because of how they are speaking. How do you know all this shit? It's your people, and there's no condemnation, there's no judgment, there's no prophecies, there's no precept spoken. But somehow you're also ascribed as being righteous. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
The world is like, it's a spiritual and a material reflection of each other. So so what I believe is, like, when people understand how these workings happen. It's like if you have an intention and you, let's say, undertake a magical working that has enough belief behind it, let's say enough energy behind it, it can manifest in physical form. And this is the nature of magic. So
and now they're saying they're acting like they don't know, but then they're giving you they're saying that Esau, the so-called white man, they were able to manifest their power through magic when Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is the reason why they are where they are at.
Oh, to me, there's always two paths with magic. See, Christ says, "Thy will be done,"
and then he goes right into mentioning the false name of Yahweh Shai, but he doesn't give him any glory,
which is the Creator's will. The magic of what I would say, like the dark side, is my will be done. And that's what, like, Aleister Crowley and other people like this.
Yes.
Crowley said he was a reincarnation of the guy working with John Dee in the magical ceremony. So their mentality is love is under will. So basically, like, love is not the primordial power of creation for them. Individual ego will is more important than love.
That's a dead end.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it points to something that I think all of us feel, which is that there's something dark about success.
So I'm going to end it there. There's more to this. I just don't want this to be too much long. You see, they're incapable, but the reason why they are incapable is because they were never set up by Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, to be the righteous. That's our position. Remember, there are two and they are set against each other, Esau and Jacob. Jacob has his position on the earth, and Esau has his position on the earth. They can't be in our position, and we can't be in their position. And that's what people have to take away from this lesson about these motherfuckers in this presentation, because they're not righteous. These are not good guys, and all these dumbasses. Oh, Tucker, you went there? Good for you. The adrenochrome addicts are real. The fairy tales about vampires were not bedtime stories. They were warnings about the demons among us. This is fucking pathetic. Look at this house. This is a precept, but it's not applied correctly. For our wrestling is not against flesh and blood. See, they think that means so what? So none of the Edomites that you saw in any of this, they're not the fault. There's nothing wrong, but against the principalities, against the powers, against the world rulers of this. It's talking about you guys, the Rothschild, the Bolsheviks, Israel. You know what religion they all have. They all have had it coming, right? Kind of wild. We went from, I wonder if we can clean up the government, to literal demons everywhere. So that's kind of a decent comment, but still no condemnation, no judgment. What's the judgment for this stuff? They got to be burnt by fire. These people have to be burnt. You suffer not a witch to live. The law has to be applied to these motherfuckers. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Shalak Rayam Wa Agnashim Wa Haragim Wa Mashapatiyam Al Kau Adawamyam Wa Gawamya Wa Yabyam Nawa Babakasha 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 Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Shalak Yahweh Shai Wa Mayaka Allah, to impose, and the rest of the Allahayim, to impose your judgment, your burning judgment on the whore, on Esau Edom. Remember the children of Esau Edom, and bring swift, fiery destruction on these wicked people, man. And establish Yahweh Shai on the throne of David, Malak Davidad, forever, to rule the universe, one who is profitable for the earth and the universe. Man, I pray that this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakadosh, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, of whom I learn from. This is your brother Radah. Shalom.